Doing That Podcast. This is Erin.
And I'm Josh.
And today we are watching Tombstone. The Tombstone. Yeah, Tombstone. Josh, talk to us about Tombstone.
Well, Tombstone came out in 1993, directed by George Cosmatos. I think that's how it's pronounced. I'm not sure. He's an Italian-American filmmaker. There's really not much to his credit. He's done a few movies.
Wow.
He did one Rambo movie. He did Cobra, which those are two Stallone movies. And I think he's done a few other things, but really didn't do a lot.
I would not have clocked that based on the quality of this movie, which you and I are going to discuss in greater detail.
Yeah.
But I would not have considered this a less experienced director.
It's got great actors in this movie. I mean, you go from Kurt Russell, Val Kilmer, Bill Paxton, Sam Elliott, Powers Booth. There's little bits of Billy Zane. There's Billy Bob Thornton.
They had, what's his name? Was it Charlton Heston?
Yeah, Charlton Heston's in there for before he's, dead. There's quite a bit. I'm forgetting a lot of the female actors. I don't recognize their names.
I didn't recognize their names either.
I mean, this movie's about the men mostly. It's the men in this. Even Thomas Hayden Church is in this. Like, there's a lot of people in this movie. But basically, this movie is about Wyatt Earp, who Kurt Russell plays, and the event that took place in Tombstone, which is so famously known as the gunfight at the OK Corral. And it just kind of follows the little bit of before and a little bit after of those events.
Yeah. And the kind of funny thing was I was coming into it, and I always like to try and think about, like, what do I know about a movie before it starts? Tombstone, I actually didn't realize that it was about the shootout at the OK Corral. But even if I had known that, I realized within a couple of minutes, I was like, the only thing I know about the shootout at the OK Corral is the version of it that was done by Star Trek, the original series. Where they got
on a holodeck?
No, it's not even a holodeck. Kirk and Spock and McCoy got, like, abducted
displaced
by
in time?
aliens. No, they got abducted by aliens and were forced to, like, fight. They were given the parts of the Earp brothers, and, like, they had one additional person. I think it was Chekhov, who I think was Doc Holliday, and, like, the aliens were being the Anglin brothers, and they had to do this whole thing where they're like, the aliens are gonna force them to fight to prove, like, violence is bad or something, and then they're gonna kill them all, because violence is bad. It's not the best Star Trek episode of all time, but I was like, this is everything I know about this event in history, which is probably bad.
Yeah.
And that lack of historical knowledge, I think, really did me a disservice in this movie because, quote unquote, spoiler alert for, like, my opinion, I could not follow this movie to save my fucking life.
Yeah, I hear you. It took me a few times to watch it. I mean, the first time watching it, I was kind of tired, fell asleep halfway. Like I was telling you earlier, watched the rest in one day, but it took 2 tries to finish it because I had other things going on. But yeah, even that I was not able to focus as much on it because they did a bunch of, like, these montages where they're, like, killing the cowboys.
Yeah. And
I didn't quite understand. I was like, oh, another montage of them killing the cowboys again? Like, you usually only do one montage, but they did it twice, and I was like, that's interesting. I wonder if they just, I don't know, had no idea what else to do, or...
Well, I think you characterize it as, like, basically an action movie set with a Western setting. Yeah. And that was the only way that I could engage with it because I was like, oh, all right, the point of this movie is not to tell, like, a coherent historical story or even, like, a morality play. This is to revel in the violence. Because, like, one of the things I looked up later, I feel like the little bit of cultural osmosis that I have around this event is that Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday are the good guys and the cowboys are the bad guys. So I'm like, okay, so them killing all the cowboys is good, right? And I went back and I looked at the actual, like, I read a very, very, very brief synopsis of what happened. And no, like, I was confused for a reason.
Yeah.
They weren't good guys or bad guys.
Yeah. It's interesting because even after watching this movie, I was trying to look up a little more information of the movie, but it ended up into a spiral of just Wyatt Earp information. And I was like, oh, okay. But there's other movies that do this story way better. I mean, even a documentary of Wyatt Earp would be better than watching this movie, to be honest. I mean, if you want information. Now, if you want to be entertained, then watch this movie.
Yeah. Well, like, for example, the number of cowboys that they killed in total was like 3? No.
In the gunfight,
it was like 3, and then, like, outside of that, like, before and after, the total number is like less than 10.
Yeah. Well, even in this movie, they're not accurately correct in what they filmed, because when I looked it up, what really happened isn't... I mean, they did as best they could, but, like, we'll get into that in a second. Yeah, it didn't
fly for me. It was very strange because you're right. There were some elements to it that I really liked. I actually did, because I felt like I was being unfair in my notes. I made myself a little list of the things that I liked. The things that I liked were Val Kilmer's acting. I thought he's very like scenery chewy in this movie, and like he plays it like right up to the edge, but never quite goes over. It was really great. I liked the makeup that they gave him for his tuberculosis.
Yeah, I saw sweaty the whole time.
I literally learned today.
There's your goo.
Yeah, that's
sweat.
my goo.
It's sweat. It's Val Kilmer's sweat the whole time.
Oh, and the fact that everybody's constantly fucking spitting.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, it's because they're chewing. So.
I know, but still gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I literally learned today before watching the movie that that Doc Holliday had tuberculosis, because I follow John Green, and it just happened to come up because the man can't stop talking about tuberculosis. So that was funny. And so when I saw like his makeup, I wasn't like, oh my god, what's wrong with him? I was like, the tuberculosis. Yep. Anyway, so I liked that. I liked his makeup. I liked his acting. Some of the shots were very pretty, and a couple of the lines made me smile. Like, so for example, when Doc is talking to Wyatt, and what is it? He's like, a man like that, he just wants revenge. And Wyatt says, for what? And I said out loud, being born. And Doc Holliday was like, being born. And I'm like, oh my god, wow. I predicted it. It was so good. And then the other quote that just, this quote sums up my entire review. I don't understand any of this. I just know it's ugly.
Yeah, that's a fun quote.
Perfect line. Yeah, those were the things that I liked. Outside of that, I did not have a good time with this movie. I love Kurt Russell. I like Bill Paxton, but like everybody is so, I don't know, they're flat. Yeah. In a way, the only one who like brought life to their performance was Val Kilmer, which again I really liked it.
Yeah, I think Val Kilmer and some of the smaller performances, like I think Billy Zane was pretty fun. Even
that's true. Billy Zane was
he didn't
fun.
really get a lot to do because he's just part of their little theater crew that comes in, and he does some stuff. The one lady, Joseph, that plays Josephine, she does some stuff that's pretty fun. I liked Billy Bob Thornton's little scene because he's the card dealer that Kurt Russell like beats up.
Is he really?
Yeah, that's Billy Bob Thornton.
Not pick up on that.
Yeah, like his little bit is fine. You know, I think the main cowboy that we kind of follow is Power Booth. His acting's not too bad. Like I think he's pretty menacing as
I guess that's
that
true.
is.
I guess that's true.
But yeah, I think you're right with some of the flat acting. I think it's just what they have, and then
and I think they're trying to be kind of like macho, stoic cowboys, which is fine as an archetype, but it's not very engaging to watch.
Yeah, and I think this movie is supposed to be more of a faster pace action movie. Because a year later, Kevin Costner does a Wyatt Earp movie called Wyatt Earp.
Okay,
and that one. I think they tried to be more accurate, and it's more of like a biopic. I remember seeing that movie and thinking, God damn, this is a long ass movie, and it is boring.
I just don't think that Wyatt Earp is a very compelling person to base anything on. Again, I read
it's like taking bits and pieces of his life, because he's got the only thing I found interesting, we'll get to it, but he does so much stuff, and it's basically just trying to make money. Yeah, and that's all it is mining and businesses, and
he and his
being like a lawman.
Wife like owned a brothel for a while apparently. Like, okay,
yeah, and I think he's had multiple wives. I think Josephine was his last wife.
Yeah, that's
which might have been his third wife, maybe second, because in the movie he has his one wife and she's got like the headaches and stuff,
and she's like addicted to laudanum.
Yeah,
which
so he's just like, ooh, Josephine. But yeah, no, there's shots in there, like they do the like traditional gunfight shots where they film from 180 degrees, where it's where you have your standoff. They do the shots with the eyes really close, and you get them. Those are great. Like those are great traditional kind of cowboy western film shots. Do those really well.
I still think though that like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly did it better, and maybe that's just because I really like that movie. But like there's like a flatness to the way that the framing of those like eye shots are done, where it's very straight on. Whereas even within like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, like there's something happening with the camera where it's like tilted, I think there's somehow.
It's been a while since I've seen Good, Bad, and Ugly, but I'm sure they're either zooming in to kind of make it a little more dramatic. Because Sam Raimi's Quick and the Dead, his movie, we probably should have watched that movie instead, because that's a great western movie, and he does so many good camera angles and shots that it's like mind blowing.
Does good work, so like I'm not against it. I don't want to throw the entire genre away. I do have one entire western that I like. It is possible for me to like a western. I just have not typically seen any.
Westerns were the most popular genres for a long time in American cinema. Like,
well, I mean, my dad watched a lot. of
Did
them.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had family members that like that's all they really wanted to watch was westerns. You know, and they kind of grew up during that kind of time. Great grandparents and
My dad
like westerns.
famously watches Gunsmoke on repeat.
Gunsmoke, Lonesome Dove. You know, those
my
kind of
God.
those kind of shows.
If
You
I
know,
never
John
see
Wayne movies.
fucking Lonesome Dove again, it'll be too soon.
Yeah, I mean, like some of the John Wayne movies aren't too bad. You're talking about Good, Bad, and Ugly. A lot of the Clint Eastwood movies. It's like it's interesting because like you see like eras of the genre where it's like John Wayne and like everybody else, then kind of goes away a little bit. Then you get Clint Eastwood comes and he's kind of more in like the 70s with spaghetti westerns, anti-hero, and then that kind of goes away. And now we're kind of in this like modern where we get westerns every now and then, but
I think we're back in an anti-hero era.
Yeah, because some of them they kind of remake older ones, like they remade True Grit, and I'm trying to think of they remade 310 to Yuma.
I didn't realize that 310 to Yuma was an older movie.
Yeah, it's an older one. I think they remade a few others. Oh, and they remade Magnificent Seven. So they kind of come back every once in a while. They'll do a remake, or there's potentially like a original one, or it's based on some kind of story somewhere.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, I think we're kind of back in the anti-hero Western era, if anything. Whereas like one of the things that I found very striking about Tombstone was how of the 90s it feels.
Yeah.
Everything is very bright, and typically it's really flatly lit. It just feels like it was made to put on TV. I know it was not an actual made-for-TV movie, but that's the way that it feels. Like somebody knew this is going to go on TBS and run for a million years.
It will.
So we may as well just, film it in a way that'll work for television. Also, like some of the morality stuff felt a little 90s to me. Like the wife who's like addicted to laudanum, which is full of opium, and she's like naggy and bad. She's the bad one. And then also like
she's a bad wife. We gotta get a new wife.
She's a bad wife. We gotta get a new wife because this one's addicted to drugs. Yeah. And then the bad guy, he stumbles out of the opium den and then starts killing everybody. I was like, did Nancy Reagan write this part? Yeah. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. No, it's just interesting, like the story, like you were saying, like, were the Cowboys bad, Wyatt Earp good, or is it just vice versa? But reading, I went to my little rabbit hole of Wyatt Earp information, and like the accuracy of like the gunfight, like you said, only 3 of the Cowboys died, which that's true per se of the historical facts. And then what they did is they killed the 3, and it was the 2 Earp brothers that got injured, and actually Doc Holliday got injured, which in this movie I don't think they show him getting injured,
I don't think so
that's inaccurate. But yeah, it's just Wyatt Earp who doesn't get injured, which they kind of also play in this movie. I don't know if like he becomes this legend where he just doesn't get hurt in gunfights, because I feel that in this movie where like the other fight that they have by the river, when he's like no, like I was kind of laughing at that part. No, and everyone's like shooting, and he's
stormtrooper aim.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, because the bad guy, the Cowboys are like, oh yeah, we got him in a crossfire, and like they can't get out of it, and then Wyatt Earp and like another one of his guys, I don't remember what character he was, but he was like, we're stuck down here, we can't get out, and he's just like, no. I'd be like, what do you mean no? What? And he just gets up and goes into the river and starts screaming no, and I love the slow motion no, and then just like blast Powers Booth away. Like I was like, damn.
The slow motion in particular, I was like, oh my god. Yeah, and it's funny because like I don't know, I don't need or frankly even want a movie that has like a clear moral, like murder bad, except I don't mind having like an anti-hero. I don't mind it being morally gray or whatever, but this movie felt so weird because it felt like it was trying really hard to tell you like Wyatt Earp is the good guy, but it never backed that up with anything. He's like
especially like the person of Wyatt Earp. I think morally he wasn't a great person because he was because like a lot of the things that he did, there weren't really laws back then. That's why the Wild West was called the Wild West. There wasn't a lot of laws, and he did a lot of stuff for money, and the Cowboys tried to charge him for murder for this because he wasn't considered a lawman. When that was another thing in this like they have different lawmen. They have like the sheriff of the town, and they had another lawman, and I was just like,
the sheriff of the county or whatever.
And
then like Virgil all of a sudden is like, I'm gonna be the law, and everyone's like, oh, when they ride in, they're like, oh, the Cowboys are the law around here. I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, because like I get get the, like, there are different, like, today we get
Yeah.
different counties and districts, and we get so many different, like, law people, and they gotta figure out who has the restriction, but, like, they didn't think of that back then, so it's very interesting how they had that in the movie.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think some of the cowboys had badges, too, because they were like friends with the one lawman, and then it's just interesting.
It was bizarre, and it was very confusing.
Yeah,
because I genuinely couldn't figure out, like, okay, is Wyatt Earp meant to be like the hero because he's like helping protect this town, or is he the bad guy because he's like killing all of these people very wantonly, or is he like
because I think
is he like an avenging hero?
Because I think it's only
whatever
Sam Elliott's character. I think it's Virgil. Wyatt. He's the only one that I think morally is like, hey, we're here, and because he even says like we're making money on their suffering of the people here.
Which I didn't understand that line, to be totally honest. I was like, what do you mean you're making money on their suffering?
Well, because
you're helping them gamble.
Yeah, like, it's the gambling, and I think they were doing mining, and I'm not exactly sure, because we
that
always
felt
see them
weird
as
to
gambling
me.
and stuff. But I think he just sees how the Cowboys keep like fucking around and doing whatever, and then there was like all the women and children. He's just finally like, all right, he must just have a moral like crisis identity. He's like, okay, I gotta do something.
Yeah, that was fine. I can completely understand like going into a town being like, wow, the situation here is fucked, and then wanting to help out. But there was a lot of that in this movie where people are just like, there's no or very little subtext. People just say their motivations out loud to each other. And Virgil being like, we're making money off of this town from their suffering. And I'm like, in what way, Virgil? Genuinely, it's not like you guys are running a protection racket against the Cowboys or something. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, they weren't. They were just.
It just sounds noble.
Yeah, they were just working for that one brothel hotel.
Yeah.
As like Wyatt Earp was a card dealer there.
And, like the casino vibe.
Yeah.
And it kept like brushing up against like social issues in a way that felt so toothless, where it was like, it kept showing like women advocating for their rights, but like one of the guys mentioned
that wasn't happening back then. Cause
I mean, a tiny bit, but probably not in Arizona.
Not in Arizona. Not because it was at that time Arizona, I believe, is still a territory. It's not a state, so there were not really any.
I mean, ladies who were like equal pay for equal work.
Well, like,
maybe, but also like I can't imagine that like they would have to protest for that.
Yeah.
Again, this was the 1880s, so I don't know.
Well,
and then the whole thing about them,
this is
like,
after the Civil War. It's the Western expansion, so it's. I mean, honestly, a lot is going on. There's time in America.
It's true.
So.
Well, and then they also they were like, I don't even want to say they commented on. They brought up the fact that there were like a lot of Chinese workers in the West at that time, and they do like basically nothing with that other than like, look at these Chinese people and their opium. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of glad they don't
weird.
show that, because like the accuracy, like already they're not accurate with like Wyatt Earp and
we don't need them commenting on like
that. I'm glad there's no Native Americans in this.
I was terrified of that because listeners, you probably don't necessarily know, but like I am Native. I'm Chetco-Tututni, and I like, on the one hand, I'm like, I would love for there to be some Native people in here because like, you know, there were Native people in the West at this time, and there still are. Also, these filmmakers are going to fuck it up. I don't want Natives to be involved in this.
especially like if we watch a John Wayne movie, like even John Wayne kind of came out being very like racist to Natives.
Oh yeah, I'm not surprised.
But you know, I think filmmakers today, I think, are kind of realizing what to accurately portray Natives, because like it's always considered as like the savages, and they just want to steal our women, because that's like
the old
the old stuff, the old stereotype.
But then like you get into the newer stereotypes from like the 90s, where it's like, oh, look at these sad Natives who just can't live without a white person to save them.
We gotta shave them. We gotta teach them English and take them away. Well, take their children away.
Or
put them in boarding schools.
We have to have Kevin Costner show up and like have an important like cultural exchange, and then like come to realize it's like, who is the monster and who is the man moment of cultural bullshit. I don't know. I'm really curious the way that a modern filmmaker would take a Western and then put Native people into it, because the possibility that it could be good exists. I just don't know realistically whether it would turn out that way.
I feel like there hasn't really been anything recent that really portrays them either as much on screen. So I'm thinking of the remake of 3:10 to Yuma. Like, they do cross some natives, but they are very brief, and like they get killed by Russell Crowe really quick. So yeah. But anyways, the thing that I saw looking at Wyatt Earp stuff, yeah, he was born 1848 and died in 1929. Dude was 80 years old.
Nice. Good for him.
And you know what? He had connections to early Hollywood as a consultant for cowboy films.
Oh, that they mentioned this at the end where like
they talked about it. Yeah, they talk, which is funny because they talk
actors.
about the narrator briefly is like, yeah, so after this they go and do a bunch of stuff. They go to Alaska, like, yeah, they did all that. He goes to Alaska, he goes all over the West Coast and makes money and does stuff with Josephine, and yeah, he's making.
At least he finally made money. You know, the thing he always wanted to do.
Yeah.
Dreams achieved. Well, and I kind of wonder if like part of the reason that he is so iconic is because he lived basically until like 1930.
Yeah.
And as a result, like he was a remnant of a past that felt completely gone, but was still accessible to people. And so like I wonder if that's what turned him into a legend, as opposed to like him legitimately being like an important person in his own right, because he doesn't seem to me like a particularly important person. He's just kind of like a guy, you know, who's struggling to make ends meet, like we all do. I guess there's something not uncompelling about that. I wouldn't want somebody to make a movie about my life on that basis. But, you know, I don't know. Especially with old Hollywood, I can see like it being a point of fascination, a little easy win for them to get something on screen. I don't know. It was so strange. The whole movie was so strange. It was hard to focus on. And it just felt like, I think maybe the other reason that I felt like I was kind of grasping for there to be like a clear good guy, bad guy, is because the movie is like clearly idealizing the Earp brothers. One of the things I wrote down is like, this is the past conservatives want to return to, where it's like all the good guys have the guns, but only the bad guys have the guns, and all of the ladies are behaving themselves, and all the drug dealers are getting like punished. And I'm like, I don't love this.
Yeah.
But it provides
funny.
this like conservative fantasy.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's all fantasy because there's no way.
No, exactly.
We can go back to that. I mean, they want it to be that way.
Well, and even if we were to go back to it, like that thing never existed in the first place.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was odd. It was really odd.
Yeah.
1993 time capsule, 100%.
It is, and like I was saying, I had to look up what's considered the best Western films.
Ooh, yeah, please.
And Tombstone in the list that I found. Rotten Tomatoes out of 100. Trying to remember where it's at. It was only at 83 out of the 100. So I mean, I gotta tell you, it's kind of low. It's not close to top 20.
No.
Which it's interesting that it's there because, like I was telling you before, every time I talk about Western films with somebody, Tombstone always gets brought up. Like it's the best of the best.
Like I wasn't excited to watch it, but I knew that it's an important Western.
And you know, for some people, I could see this being like their favorite Western film. For me, it's not. When I was looking at the list of 100, I wrote down my favorites. These movies, maybe we'll watch them and review them, but
hell yeah,
they actually have some really good Western films on this list. Some that like I haven't seen. Definitely, let me see. Like, they have the Assassination of Jesse James as 85th, which for me that would be a lot higher. But
yeah, I'm curious to try them out because, like, I don't know, I got a little bit westerned out with Dad.
I can understand that.
But at the same time, like, I don't want to throw an entire genre away. They have
City Slickers on here. City Slickers is it's a comedy, but
I was gonna say with Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystals. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Sure.
Because like they're doing a Western theme, but it's not really a Western movie because it's like these guys who, you've seen the movie, right?
I haven't.
You haven't seen it?
Of course not. That's the name of the podcast, Josh.
Well, you said you knew who Billy Crystal was in it.
I know things about movies. I just haven't seen them.
Dang. I thought we were gonna get a winner here.
Nope.
You're gonna I see that one.
Nope, that's not how this game works. I don't watch movies. I'm very bad at it. That's the whole purpose of the podcast.
That's kind of funny.
I have movies I've seen.
But yeah, but the last Western movie I saw in theaters, the movie's called Horizon, and it's like a bunch of different stories. This one came out 2024, so it's very recent. Very recent.
Well, Okay.
Tombstone and Wyatt Earp in the gunfight OK Corral.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I would not rewatch it.
I know people would rewatch this movie over and over again, and yeah, I'm good watching it every now and then. It's
your now and then is my never again, because I'm like, there's so many other things I could be watching instead, and it just, I don't know, it didn't do it for me. I'm looking forward to a Western that does do it for me.
Sweet.
So then, Josh, what are we watching next?
Well, we're going to Gotham. We're going to be watching Michael Keaton, Tim Burton, and Jack Nicholson in Batman 1989.
Yay!
Which, this is kind of the movie I really got the idea of the podcast.
Spawned the pod. It didn't quite spawn the pod, but I think it's what solidified for us that the pod had to happen.
When I kept thinking, I think when we were on our trip to Japan, I kept making I was making quotes or something about this movie.
No, it's not even that. We had been kind of bouncing around the idea of a podcast for a long time.
Yes,
and then
that's true.
I found out that I was going to be laid off in November, and so I had jokingly said oh, when you get laid off, you have to start a podcast. And so there were a bunch of movies where you were surprised I hadn't seen them yet. But then when we were on the way home from Japan, we're all hanging out in the airport, and you mentioned something about Batman, and I just kind of looked at you blankly, and you're like, Erin, Batman 1989, and I was like, I've never seen it, and you're like,
what?
Erin.
I was like, when we get back to the States, we're starting this podcast because that solidified that because you didn't see Batman.
Yeah, and
we're gonna have to do it.
I love Batman, but all of the older Batman movies I haven't seen.
So if you're currently watching us or listening to us on YouTube, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, write us some comments. Even hit that little bell. It looks like Taco Bell. Hit that because that's a notification. So you'll get notifications whenever we upload any new videos or any kind of content.
Also, if you'd like to support us financially, you can subscribe to us on Patreon at patreon.com/YouHaven'tSeenThatPodcast. Currently, all of the episodes are free, but if you love us, you can give us $5 whole a month just to show your appreciation.
Yeah.
Eventually, we are planning on having bonuses and things that are exclusive to members, but at this point, it genuinely is just a way to tell us that you love us.
Yeah, I like that idea. Please support us because if you want this channel to grow and this podcast to grow, that's one way to help us. Look for some social media that will hopefully get made whenever I have time.
Whenever Josh bestirs himself.
Yeah.
Honestly, maybe what we do is one of the things I can do is I can go on a big rant about how much I hate editing. And then we can use the Patreon money to hire an editor. Yeah, which will probably just be me. Well, thanks for listening to the You Haven't Seen That podcast. And I've got you now, you son of a bitch.
You're a daisy if you do. Bam!